Hi everyone, of course when it comes to my channel through Jermaine's Lens, I often focus on camera specific details when it comes to the phone, but also of course filming on my Lumix S5. But these videos will be purely based on camera results with certain phones. And of course, we're starting off with an old one and see how it still performs this day. The Mi 11 Ultra, including, if I can press it, the lovely rear display on it. So let's discuss the Mi 11 Ultra and how it holds up in terms of camera performance. And you will be surprised by how well this still holds up. Probably, if you want a camera phone that is a little bit older, the Mi 11 Ultra is one of the only devices that I can easily recommend because of its hardware. Anyway, let's jump into the video. Results showcase what is bad and what is good when it comes to the Mi 11 Ultra. So before we start talking about results, let's quickly look at the camera specifications for the Mi 11 Ultra. And one thing that also matters is of course the CPU inside, because of the computational photography. The Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra of course comes with the Snapdragon 888. When it comes to the camera hardware, we are talking about a 50 megapixel main sensor with a 2.0 f-stop. Of course it's a 24mm wide lens and a 1/112 inch sensor size, which is actually quite large for around that time. When it comes to the periscope, we are talking about a 48 megapixel resolution with an f-stop of 4.1 and a 1/2 inch sensor size, which is actually also again quite large. When it comes to the ultra wide, again a 48 megapixel sensor with a 2.2 f-stop, and in terms of sensor size, again a 1/2 inch sensor size. These sensors are quite large and still hold up really well when it comes to this camera hardware. When it comes to video recording, you can record of course in 8K and 24 frames per second, 4K 30 and 60 frames per second, and 1080p. You have all the possibilities up to slow motion 1920 frames per second. Either way, let's look at already over a 2-year-old phone holds up today when it comes to this camera performance. So while showcasing results and pictures I've taken over the years that I've had this phone, I want to discuss the good first when it comes to the Mi 11 Ultra. To begin with the setup of wide, ultra wide and periscope. This is making the phone very versatile. You can either zoom out via the ultra wide or you get really close to objects far away with the periscope. And while the hardware is limited to a x5 optical zoom, you can still get some good digital zoom next to it as well, because of it being a larger sensor and a higher resolution. I could say depending on the light you can even get shots up to 20 times that are actually quite good. Yes, you can get 120 times, and yes, moonshots will look fine, but honestly I hardly ever use that. The main sensor, because of it being a larger sensor, also allows a nice natural depth of field, and it offers enough light to come in as well in different situations like low light, but we'll get to that in a bit. For me, when it comes to the camera, I also want to play around, mess around with the settings like in Pro mode, and of course, well, here we have it as well. The styles, the possibility to use different styles. Now I will say it isn't as nice as it is on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, giving a little bit more of a filter effect than a style. But with that being said, when it comes to the results, you can get excellent shots and the styles look amazing. For me of course, black and white is my favorite, and filmic is also really nice. Those shots that you can get with it, especially zooming in, is amazing. Now, of course, we've shown daytime photography, but let's talk about low light photography, because a lot of times when we come to low light photography, when it comes to phones, a lot of it is computational photography. And the Mi 11 Ultra has something else in its hand. Compare the sensor size, the 1/112 in sensor size, to some others out there, it's still a large sensor. Allowing this large sensor on your phone allows more light to come in. But it is somewhat limited because of course it does only have an f2.0 compared to some other phones that have a f1.8 or even a f1.4. I think it's the Huawei P50 Pro that allows you to have that 1.4 up to whatever it was. I think they have 10 steps. But when it comes to that, of course, having a larger f-stop would help with more light in. But again, we do have a larger sensor size here. So in low light situations, I will say that while it isn't the best, and I still think that the Xiaomi 13 Pro allows that really natural low light shots effect, I think when it comes to mobile photography and what people expect from low light photography, the Mi 11 Ultra does excellent. So that was the good side of the camera, but what are the weaker sides of the Mi 11 Ultra till this day? Well, I don't have much bad things to say in terms of camera performance for the Mi 11 Ultra. I want to discuss the part that I would say needs a little bit of work, and that counts for most Android phones. And yes, I am talking about video recording. Again, the capability of this phone is great, and being able to use that weird display allows me to use that as a good main camera, for instance recording videos on travel, which I've done several times because it allows me to frame myself properly. But I will say, this made me notice that the camera video performance isn't the nicest. I've noticed that footage can sometimes be a little bit off in dynamic range, but also saturation can be high depending on the situation. I feel like if I had to pick a lesser side of the camera performance, it simply would be that. Again, it isn't bad by any means, and it still holds up really well, especially the capabilities of different frames per second, and of course up to 8K, even though I don't use 8K. Video recording is the one side where I would say it needs a little bit of work. So this is the Mi 11 Ultra and its performance. Overall, like I said, you will be surprised how well it holds up because of the hardware being so advanced even for its time. Even now, if you compare it to some devices like for instance Samsung and Apple. When it comes to this hardware, it's really good, it's excellent. Yes, you can say, oh, but it doesn't have a natural 10 times zoom compared to the Samsung that does have it, where this one is naturally a 5 times zoom. But when it comes to the periscope, it's better. The versatility is really good. I will say Samsung has a beat when it comes to having that little bit of a mid-range zoom like the 3 times. But overall, the Mi 11 Ultra definitely is one of those phones that I can still easily recommend, especially when it comes to the camera and the versatility of it. Not to mention, if you love selfies, there's nothing better than use the main camera. And the main camera, of course, if you use that on any other phone, it's basically guessing. But with this one, you have that weird display that allows you to properly frame yourself. So, the Mi 11 Ultra, if you would ask me, it's an excellent phone, especially for the camera. And it still holds up really well with the hardware that you get with it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe and everything. And of course, I'm trying to somewhat reach 10,000 before the end of the year. But honestly, I doubt that I'm going to. But if you can help out, I mean, I wouldn't mind. Anyway, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.